Dylan's movie, the 1998 film Godzilla. Tell us about it.
Dude, that S plus is going to carry you hard. What do you mean?
I don't think I like the way you describe. Anyway, on to the movie. So yeah, this is a very early on Americanized Godzilla movie. You basically got these like ships that are being attacked. That nobody knows what's going on. They find this guy who's doing radioactive animal research. They're like, hey, we need to study this thing. Then they discover, hey, there's this lizard that's been radioactively enhanced or something, and we need to find where it's going. And it nested inside New York City. So then they're on adventures trying to figure out where it's at so they can kill it, get rid of it, whatever. It ends up having babies in the Madison Square Garden. The babies are trying to break out, and they nuke the building, and then, oh no, Godzilla's actually still alive, and it's pissed because its babies are dead. Then it chases the first people it sees, it gets tangled on the bridge at the very end and dies, and then there's a big sad moment at the end. Tanner, what's your haiku?
Here's my haiku as inspired by Godzilla, and I'm really proud of this haiku, by the way, so please don't make fun of me.
Let's go.
Nick Totopoulos, gotta put a stop to this Godzilla nonsense.
Ooh.
Dude, that was just like a dang old freestyle rap right there is what you created. That wasn't no haiku. That was
all right,
Alright,
boys,
my name is
on
Tanner,
me.
and I'm here to say I like Godzilla in a major way.
Dylan, I do
ready.
have a question for you.
Ready.
So, I'm sure this movie gets fucking dragged through the mud. It has like a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I
hell
feel
yeah,
like,
I read those.
I'm sure plenty of people don't like it for like what it is as a movie, but I'm also sure there's probably a lot of people that don't like it because maybe it's just not like truly Godzilla. What is your take on that? Because like in this movie, Godzilla is just some big pregnant iguana fucking up places trying to find somewhere to nest. And that's very opposite of what Godzilla is in literally any other Godzilla thing ever. Do you care about that at all?
No, I mean, I think it's fine to have variation. I get the fact, I know that the biggest gripe with this movie is people like, this isn't a real Godzilla, it's tiny compared to all the other Godzillas, it's atomic breath.
That is not the biggest gripe.
That's the last thing I heard. Tanner, I also just acknowledge that nobody likes this movie, so I just, don't pay attention to that and move on. Okay. But, I mean, I think it's fine, like, I think they're just mad because all the other Godzillas only had, like, one origin point. I think this is where, and I can't say for certain, but this is, like, where Godzilla started branching out and having different origin points.
What do you mean?
Like how Godzilla came to be, basically.
This is still pretty much in line with, like, the OG Godzillas.
I know, but I just interpret it as that, like,
I know, but I'm saying
like
it's different is the big thing. That's why people don't like it.
It's not different is what I'm saying, though.
I don't fully know the story behind the original Godzilla.
Why are you claiming it's different, then?
Yeah.
Well, because that's what everybody makes it sound like. Anyway, but yeah, no, I don't mind it being different at all. I think the movie's fine. Like I had mentioned before in the group chat, this is a very, like, a guilty pleasure movie for me.
So, with that being said then, Dylan, what is it that you like so much about this film? Because I think we'll have the most interesting take out of all of us. So I feel like we'll just kind of align with, like, the pretty general sense of it. But, like, for you, this is something entirely different for you.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this movie, I had a very core set of movies that I watched when I was a child. This was one of them. This was my first exposure to Godzilla. I don't think I knew there was any Godzilla before this. And, I mean, I thought the writing at least was pretty good. The acting itself...
What do you mean by the writing was good?
I don't know, I'm assuming that's, like, in reference to, like, the script and the way in which the plot plays out.
Okay, what do you think was good about that?
I mean, I just like the introduction. I like how I like movies that start out, like, with a silent threat. Kind of like with The Thing, where you're not entirely sure what's going on, but there's, like, big hints as to what it could be. I like how Godzilla's, like, a looming threat. And one big message, because I was alluding to this with my summary, is one thing that this movie's alluding to at the very end as well, is Godzilla was just... like a creature doing, like, its own natural thing. Like, it doesn't know any better. It's just trying to, pass on its genetics and survive, because that's what all creatures are trying to do. And the fact that the U.S. military, like, intervened basically in this way and prevented it from doing that, that's why the end scene, I think, was so emotionally, like charged, at least for me. Because you could just see, like, I don't know. That's just my interpretation. But... I can acknowledge the CGI in this movie was not good. It got very bad when we hit Madison Square Garden. The puppetry, as far as, like, when they're hatching from the eggs, that was fine. it started getting bad when they were walking around outside the eggs, and then it got worse when they were running around in the hallways. It just didn't blend well with the environment, unfortunately. And I kind of figured you guys were going to talk about CGI. That's why I'm bringing it up now.
It was bad.
It was bad. I can acknowledge that it was bad.
Honestly, though, for 1998,
It was still bad.
For 1998, it was a very different time. Like, when Godzilla was walking around the city, some of the shots did not look that bad, I would say. I think the CG actually fit decently well with some parts of it. I do agree, though, when like, all the little babies were walking around inside the theater, it was, like, total ass, complete garbage. Yeah. And there was some, like, some of the intro scenes, the lighting didn't, like, fit super well with it. But I think, for the most part, it's, like, passable, I would say. Mm-hmm. I also do like that they actually did use some puppetry with them coming out of the eggs. I wish they did more, but, you know, it is what it is.
That's a lot of puppetry, my dude. There's a lot of babies.
It was funny, though, when they were, like, in the tunnel, and there's, like, just a big wall of Godzilla, and they're like, oh, what's that thing? And it's, like, some big CG wall, and it looks like total ass. And I'm like, I wonder what that could be, the big fucking CG wall, huh? I wonder what it is.
Yeah, also in that same scene, they're like, oh, I guess it's nothing. They're walking away, and Godzilla literally has, like, a low growl as it's rising out of the way. I'm like, there's no fucking way these guys don't hear this shit. What the fuck?
Right. I think Godzilla looks pretty good anytime we are not seeing his feet touch the ground. Anytime it's like from the waist or the knees up, it looks pretty decent. But like as soon as you see how they're not really able to make it seem like the feet are actually touching the ground properly, that's when it like falls apart. Which is unfortunate because a lot of when we're seeing Godzilla is from, like, the cameraman's point of view, and we're seeing the big, like, 4-polygon feet marching around on the ground.
I didn't notice that, unfortunately.
Womp womp.
By the way, guys, I feel like this is a very progressive film as well. Like, I'm pretty positive this is the most times the words, he's pregnant, is uttered in any film.
Okay.
True.
So, Dylan, was that about all you had to say about, like, your big old positives for the film, everything you loved about it?
I feel like you guys are about to unleash hell, goddammit. I don't know. This movie is just, it's just a nostalgia trip. I don't really know what to say. Like, I'm not gonna rate it super high, but, like, I can acknowledge this movie's flaws, but I don't know. Something about this movie, like, I can read the online negative reviews, but even the negative reviews are kind of vague. They're like, this isn't our Godzilla. Like, that was, like, a majority of the ones that I read. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Yeah, we were reading some of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews after we finished watching the movie, and a lot of them were basically just like, this is just some dumb spectacle. What a waste of time. And that was, like, most of them.
It was very general.
A lot of those reviews are just the reviewers, like, jerking themselves off, to be honest.
A lot of them were perhaps a little nonsensical, TBH.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I think, you guys have said before, CGI in the dark looks pretty good. CGI in the light is bad, which is, Godzilla, most of the time in New York, it's rainy and dark and stormy, you can't see it super well. That's why I think Godzilla looks pretty decent. The babies in Madison Square Garden where everything's white and bright, that's
I think the biggest crime this movie committed is that in the poster, Godzilla's leg is like the size of a fucking building, and in the movie, it's so tiny. It's a little baby.
I mean, Godzilla's, like, fucking size in general in the film is incredibly inconsistent.
Yeah.
That's basically on par with every other big monster movie we've seen. They never make it consistent. It's always just whatever fits the mood. Speaking of his size, the fucking holes the fucker was digging under New York City, like, they were destroying the foundation of the city. Like, everything should be collapsing in itself. They've got, like,
I mean, to be
300
fair,
meter
he was
deep
using train tunnels as well.
Godzilla's way too big for train tunnels.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Maybe New York is just set up for that.
It's set up for a massive lizard to just crawl around inside of it.
Listen, dude, they got a bunch of subway tunnels. I don't know what to tell you.
Here's my big thing. How is this movie so long, but also so fast-paced?
I will say, they could have just kept Godzilla dead, and I think the movie would have been fine. I don't think they needed to bring him back popping out of Madison Square Garden. I think that probably could have just been the end.
But, like, then we wouldn't get the cool, epic taxi car chase scene.
It's unnecessary, Jackson. Even I can
you wouldn't
acknowledge
get
that.
amazing dialogue, like, I think we're in its mouth.
Listen, dude, they're
Yeah,
from
the
New York.
dialogue
They say,
in this movie is atrocious.
That's a
dude.
lot of
It is
fish.
nonsensical. Yeah, it's just.
It's very quippy, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention with the CGI, the fire breath.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's...
Holy shit.
We just kept thinking it was explosions going off and not actual fire breath.
It's like, yeah, it filled the air with gas and then it just ignited is basically what that was. I don't know how that works.
Which, by the way, Godzilla in this film is a fucking ninja, apparently. Like, I don't know how they
Yeah.
keep losing it, and it just pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah, like the part where they chase it into like the hole in the building and it's like throwing its voice and they're like, oh, we think we got it, and then it fucking jumps out of the building behind them. Like, that isn't... And then they think that helicopters are still the answer, so they fly them all through the city below building level where they know Godzilla can reach them. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I really don't know what the military's idea with that second attack is. It seemed like they realized that their first attempt didn't work very well, so they decided, you know what, we're gonna do the same thing a second time. It'll be fine.
Well, they were under the assumption like, oh, we found its blood, we can harm it, we can kill it. So they're like, we got to do it again.
Yeah, no, they went out of their way to make the American military seem like actual total incompetent dumb fucks.
I mean,
and in contrast, they made the French military look like these fucking crazy super cool, very competent people.
Yeah, I'm not a
which I
big
think is
fan of
kind
this French
funny.
propaganda.
Yeah, I don't like
I
the
like the
inclusion of
French
the
guy.
French at all. It's so weird that they are in this movie.
it's their problem, Tanner. They caused it. They need to fix it.
Why didn't they help? What's the reason? Like, we couldn't think of a reason why they wouldn't just go and help the U.S. military. Why? Do you have a reason for that?
Well, they said in the movie they don't want the world to know that the French created this thing, so they want to do it in secret. So they're like, oh, why are you guys here? And they're like, we created this thing. And then they're like, sorry.
Wouldn't them killing it immediately cause people to go, why did the French just do a military operation on U.S. soil?
Not if they don't get caught. That's why they're the
guess,
Secret
but
Service.
they could just do nothing, let the American military kill it, and that would have a much higher chance of no one figuring out it was
But
the
that's
French.
morally wrong, Tanner. Also, that's just more like in reserve forces trying to kill this thing.
I don't think it's. I mean, no.
Yes.
It's like you can't reasonably predict that a nuke would turn a fucking iguana into a giant monster.
You can't, but when it shows up, that's when you know you fucked up.
I just think I don't think that's a very good justification. Let me put it
Well,
that way.
it's what the movie had, so it's kind of too
Right.
late for that.
Anyways, main character time. Not a fan of the main character. He's like just way too aloof and easygoing with a lot of things. Also, I actually despise so goddamn much that he got with
Greek.
his fucking bitch ex at the end of it. That shit pissed me off to no end. Like, he wanted to marry her, she fucking ghosts him without a word, and then the second they meet each other again after 8 years, she immediately betrays him and gets him fired from his fucking really cool, like, special job, and almost, potentially, if they didn't, get the French people helping him out, that could have been disastrous and had, like, the end of the fucking... the world as we know it, basically, with the population of Godzilla. She could have caused that. Yeah, I think she's an irredeemable character. She never does anything to redeem herself at the end. I think the big turning point with her character arc is just her helping him out with the fucking news broadcasting to tell the world what's going on. Or not the world, but like the people in the newsroom what's going on.
What can I say, Jackson? Life-ending scenarios really change your perspective of the person.
Like when she
Yeah,
fucking
no, he
shows
changes my
back
perspective
up
from the worst.
and she says, "Don't tell me you're still angry that I walked out on you 8 years ago." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of upset about that still." She's like, "Ugh, fine then," and then she just walks away.
I hate her. She's so insufferable.
I didn't even consider this part of the movie, you guys having a problem with it. I kind of thought that part was whatever.
It was
I'm
more
not
than
here
whatever.
for romantic drama. I'm here for Godzilla, goddammit.
Yeah, speaking of romantic drama, this movie has a lot of just wasted time. This movie's really fucking long, and it just throws away a lot of your time on useless
Dude, I did
bullshit.
not know this movie was 2.5 hours. I opened it up, I was like, how the fuck is this movie? How did I have the attention span as a child to watch this 2.5 hour movie?
Yeah, they could have. I think they could easily cut an hour of bloat out of this film.
See,
and
that's what I'm
I don't-
saying. If
I think it would have been
if
much
you
better.
If you cut off the end after they kill all the babies, that's like 15 minutes to like half an hour of the movie by itself.
Yeah, of course that ending chase scene is really fucking stupid and
Yeah.
dumb as well. But
I don't know why they were like felt the necessity to pad out their time. I think they made their point with the movie.
They had some extra budget laying around they didn't have to use it with.
Well, guys, have we made our peace with Godzilla 1998?
You guys weren't
Yeah.
nearly as negative on that movie as I thought you were gonna be.
Dude!
Well, you don't know our ranks yet.
I mean, that's true, but I figured like the talk itself would have been, more negative.
Fuck this movie and anyone who likes it. I hated Godzilla. I hate current Godzilla. I hate every iteration of Godzilla. He's a big lizard. What's so cool about
Nico,
that?
I got a
Why
gift for
wasn't
you.
Mothra in this movie?
'Cause I don't know how you could reasonably introduce Mothra
Tanner.
into this.
A moth also got nuked.
That's not how that works.
Tanner, what are you giving this movie?
Fucking.
I'm sweating beads right now.
I'm in between two ranks,
Give
and
it the
it's
lower
like
one.
impossible for me to decide between the two.
Give it the lower one.
Do the lower one?
Do the lower one. It'll make me feel better.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a C.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Jackson, how about you?
I give it a C- personally.
Wow.
Holy
Dude,
shit.
I gave it a C- too. Dylan, how about you?
B-.
Revolting.
Fuck
And that
you, Nico.
puts us at a C
That's what you
overall.
get.
I think I literally said I was going to give this movie a C- when we were initially talking about it.
Before
but
we
I
even
could
watched
be
the
wrong.
movie, you said, you know what, I'm feeling a C- for this one, just based off vibes alone.
Yeah, strong C- to a light D+.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm actually extremely satisfied with this outcome. I thought you guys were gonna fucking hate this movie like D's.
No, this movie is
Honestly.
surprisingly inoffensive. It has some big flaws that are annoying, but for the most part, I think it's just a very inoffensive movie.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you guys said the online reviews were a little harsh. That's where I breathed a sigh of relief.
I
people
fucking
are
hate movie
capping,
critics, bro.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
insufferable assholes, and
They're-
I'm one of them.
I was about to say, I think we all
Yeah.
are.
Dude, it is crazy, but like also like reading the difference between how movie critics talk about movies like in the current day versus like in the 90s. They are so high off their own supply in the 90s, dude. It is ridiculous. They are busting out thesaurus for no reason other than to throw the biggest words they can in their
Yeah.
reviews. It's so stupid.